Everyone is screaming that Amazon FBA is dead. On YouTube, on Twitter, on TikTok, Instagram, everywhere. Now, it is so easy to jump on the bandwagon and say that Amazon FBA is dying, but I can tell you straight up that that is bullshit. And how do I know this? Because I have personally generated over £3 million in revenue and 430k in profit from Amazon FBA so far over the last couple of years, and I'm continuing to scale my business year on year. So as someone with a lot of skin in the game, I can definitely tell you firsthand that Amazon FBA is not dead. And in this video, I'm going to be telling you exactly why. So there are basically 6 common things that people like to say and bring up when they're talking about how Amazon FBA is dead and how you can't make money anymore. The most common being that Amazon is oversaturated, and that because there's so many sellers on the platform, it leads to lower sales and you just can't make money anymore. So firstly, I think this argument mainly comes from people that are launching their own product, probably in niches that are really saturated. You know, if you're launching like a kitchen spatula or something like that, it's a little bit hard to stand out because there are a lot of sellers on Amazon nowadays. You know, it's true. But realistically, if you're going to launch your own product, you have to have a way to differentiate it from other products and a way that kind of, you know, to stand out from all these other products. And if you're launching something without doing the proper research and you're launching into a niche that is super competitive and very saturated like kitchen utensils is, you're just not going to do well. I think this argument also comes from people that just gave up too quickly, you know, tried the hand at Amazon for a few months and just kind of gave up and haven't really made that much progress because they just didn't put in that effort. I think realistically, if you're doing what I do, where I do arbitrage, where I'm not launching my own products, I'm just selling existing branded products. If you're doing a lot of like common sourcing methods and just sourcing in the same places as everyone else, sure, you could definitely have issues with saturation. But that is why you just have to differentiate yourself and source in unique ways, you know, like how I do with my secret sourcing techniques. You just gotta differentiate yourselves to other sellers and not be following the crowd. You know, the reality is that Amazon is more profitable than ever. Amazon revenue has increased by 95% in 2024. You know, that is a huge increase in sales. And I think you've just got to be stupid not to look at those sort of numbers and think, yeah, there is a growing opportunity to make money on Amazon, not a declining one. More and more people are using Amazon every day for their shopping needs, and you know, the trend is only showing that this is going to continue. You know, my VAs are finding profitable leads every day for me in, you know, fairly unknown niches, but they still have high sales. So I'm able to sell the products that no one else is really able to and just avoid any of that sort of saturation. I think the reality is that Amazon is oversaturated, but it's oversaturated with bad sellers that don't know what they're doing. You know, good sellers like myself, we do know how to make money still, and it's all about just improving your sourcing skills, working on your deal analysis and finding those products that no one else is finding. Now make sure to watch my video that I released a few weeks back where I go through all of the different sourcing methods for Amazon FBA. So go check that out and work out what you can be doing to kind of further your own business whilst avoiding the saturation. The second argument that I think a lot of people like to make is that Amazon regulations make it really hard to sell on the platform. And now, admittedly, Amazon are annoying as fuck, right? It is not it's not completely untrue that Amazon policies are changing all the time, they're always updating things, but as long as you do things by the book and you're not buying from AliExpress or eBay or some dodgy marketplace like that, you know, and you're buying from legitimate VAT registered suppliers that are based within the UK, just like what I do, you really won't have any problems. You want to be getting invoices from all your suppliers for all of the things that you're buying. These invoices should match your company details, it should have your address on there. As long as you can do things like that and just kind of, yeah, do things by the book, you really won't have any problems with Amazon. Ungating can also be a problem for new sellers, and some people like to bring that up about how you have to seek approval to get approved to sell a lot of brands. And this is true, and it's definitely a pain when you're trying to do arbitrage, when you're selling lots of different brands. But the reality is all you need to do is have an invoice that shows that you've bought at least 10 units of that brand. You upload the invoice to Amazon. As long as you've bought from a legitimate place and the invoice has all of your details on it, you will get approved to sell that brand. And it's really as easy as that. You just make an application, upload your invoice and get approved. It obviously was a little bit of a pain when I first started. You know, you've got to seek approval for these brands, but the more you sell, you'll just automatically get approved for the majority of brands. Nowadays, I rarely even think about gating because I'm just ungated for everything. And if you sell long enough and, you know, spend long enough doing Amazon and sell enough products, you will have the exact same thing where you are just approved for everything. Again, like the only people this really affects is those people that give up after 1 or 2 months doing Amazon and are just like, oh, it's too hard, I'm just gated for everything. No, it's just a way that Amazon gives you like a barrier to entry. Amazon isn't as free as like eBay is, where anyone could just make an account and sign up and start listing stuff. Amazon wants to keep their platform professional, and by doing this, they do, you know, enforce those rules and make sure that the wrong people aren't selling the wrong items. As with everything, you know, you just got to persist and just, you know, take every challenge as it comes and just submit your bloody documents, and then you won't have an issue. Some people also like to say that there is too much competition from big companies, you know, a lot of retailers like AO, and I can't think of another one off the top of my head, but they also sell on Amazon as well as their own website. And sure, this is true, you know, there is other big companies selling on Amazon, but the reality is these companies are rarely pricing it as low as their own website, so you'll often also be able to just compete with them easily. There have actually been times where I've bought from a website at a cheaper price, and that same website is on the Amazon listing at a higher price, and I've still been able to make money selling that item. And there's also millions of products on Amazon. There are so many different things that you can sell. There are just a limitless amount of products that you can be selling on the platform. It is not hard to find ones that have low seller counts and don't have much competition. Really, you just need to know how and to know what you're doing. I also hear that some people say that Amazon FBA is not a real business, or not scalable, or not long-term, and I think that that is just completely wrong. It completely disregards the hundreds, if not thousands of success stories from sellers all across the country that have made loads and loads of money off Amazon, including myself. Now, I actually haven't been selling on Amazon for a huge amount of time, you know, it's only been a couple years since I started, but I know many sellers that have been selling for, you know, 5-6 years or even longer than that. And as I said earlier, you know, Amazon sales are only increasing year on year, so I think to say this is not a long-term business is just flat out wrong, because there are plenty of people who have been doing this in excess of 10 years, and I myself hope that I will do this for many years to come, and can't really see any reason why I won't be able to do that. You know, if I didn't think this was a long-term scalable business, I wouldn't be doing it as my full-time thing. I wouldn't have dropped out of uni to do this, because I want something long-term and scalable, and Amazon is exactly that. You know, I myself have made in excess of £400,000 in profit over the last couple of years. I'm now, you know, month to date in February of 2025, I've made over £30,000 in profit. I've also got mentorship students like the wonderful Sam, who I did an interview with, who did in excess of £60,000 profit in a single month. I've even got people that are just, you know, like Leighton, who I also did an interview with recently in the back of a Rolls Royce. I did an interview with him. He has a 9-to-5 that he works usually, and he still does Amazon and has the time to make a few grand extra a month in profit. Scalability is 100% possible with Amazon FBA. You just need to know how to do it, how to put the systems in place, how to outsource certain parts of the business to other people. Like nowadays, as I've said many times, I don't really do much from Amazon business. I just purchase the deals and check everything's running. All the prep gets dealt with by another company. All of the sourcing gets dealt with by my staff in the Philippines. All of the admin side, the same staff in the Philippines. At the point I'm at right now with the business, the only thing that could help scale even faster is just more capital available for stock. There is, you know, I've kind of maxed out every aspect of the business, I would say. But in terms of scalability, you know, it is limitless besides my need for capital, but that is a problem that just does solve itself over time. You know, when you're raking in the profit that I am, if I just compound that all back into the business, month on month, I'm able to do higher numbers than the previous month. And I do see some of the criticism about how Amazon is not a real business, because yeah, it's true. You haven't really got your own customer base. You're just kind of relying on Amazon. And though it doesn't really happen very often, if Amazon did just want to kick you off the platform one day for some reason, they're well in their right to do that. They could. So I do get it. You know, I'd be lying if I hadn't thought this myself at some points. You know, am I really putting my time and effort into something that is going to be scalable and long term? But the reality is, if you really do feel that way and you don't want to stick around in Amazon, why not do it for a couple years, take all the money that you make from that, and then put it into a real business? I mean, I myself am looking at potentially buying properties. I'm also looking at other businesses outside of Amazon, not because I don't believe in Amazon, but because I have the money now from my Amazon profits to go and think about starting other businesses. And I'm sure, as any rich businessman will tell you, the best way to get really rich is to have lots of different businesses and lots of income streams. And so I think that is the best end goal for anyone doing Amazon FBA. You know, you shouldn't really be 100% in any business if you can. You want to try and spread your risk over lots of different things. But at the same time, I can't really see Amazon ever not being my main thing, because it is the highest margin thing I could possibly do. You know, I could buy a house for a few $100,000 and rent it out for maybe £1,000 a month or something like that. But I could put that same money into Amazon and make 10% on it every single month. The margins with Amazon are just incredible compared to any other business that I've tried or looked into. I've noticed as well on social media that people love to talk about Amazon FBA fees and about how everyone isn't really making any money. It's just Amazon pocketing money from the fees. And look, I won't lie to you guys, the fees are nuts with Amazon FBA. I've probably paid more in fees than I have in actual profit that I've made. So I've paid in excess of 400 grand in fees to Amazon. And that is unfortunate, but at the end of the day, the value that Amazon provide to me is just irreplaceable. Whether that's through the actual fulfillment aspect of it, where they ship all my products to my customers without me lifting a finger, or the fact that they advertise my products and I do nothing. There are so many benefits to Amazon, and that is why you pay high fees, you know. They can charge that because they provide a fair service. But, you know, if you've watched some of my other videos, you'll see I use SellerAmp SaaS to check the profit on all of the listings, including the fees. All of the profit figures you see me talk about and post include the fees. I never skip out on any of the fees or anything like that. It's a very important cost to kind of keep record of. And sure, Amazon FBA fees rise over time, you know, but as does all prices. You know, my favorite pineapple juice at Tesco used to be £1. It's now £1.30. Prices raise over time. That is just inflation. All you need to be doing is finding those high ROI, fast selling products, and as long as you've got a good enough margin, and you'll know you will have because you'll be using SellerAmp SaaS and you'll know all the fees on the listings that you're selling under, you just will make money. The fees are already accounted for in the profit calculations. Not to mention, there's plenty of things you can do to cut your fees. You know, you can ship lots of things in the same box. You can think about, you know, sourcing smaller items because Amazon charge more fees for larger, oversized items. There are plenty of ways to cut fees, but overall, it's just not really something I think about that much. It's already factored into my profit calculations from the very first day I even look at a product. So for me, it's just a cost of business, and I still make plenty of money regardless of the fees. And the final argument that I'd like to debunk is that Amazon favors its own products. This is kind of true, but kind of not true at the same time. It doesn't necessarily affect me that badly. So it's true that Amazon do tend to favor their own products on the buy box. More if you have a listing where Amazon is selling that item, you may have to undercut them in price to actually get a share of the buy box and make some sales. Now for me personally, I don't really even consider this an issue. Most of the time on most listings, they will share the buy box if you're matching the same price as them. So, you know, you'll get roughly maybe like 30% to 70% Amazon, so you will get some of the buy box and capture some of those sales if it's just you and Amazon competing. Or maybe I will have to undercut them by a couple quid, but at the end of the day, I don't really source low profit items. You know, I've always got a very healthy margin, so I'm more than happy to undercut if needed. My repricer handles all of that, so I have automated software that just kind of reprices all my listings and takes into account stuff like that. And at the end of the day, Amazon cannot keep every single product that exists on Earth in stock 24/7. It's just not possible, you know? That's why we have third-party sellers on Amazon, because there are plenty of gaps in the market that need to be filled by someone. There are lots of listings that I might sell on where Amazon kind of go in and out of stock. Maybe 50% of the time they're in stock at a lower price, and I just wait till they're out of stock and sell at that higher price. There are loads of ways you can capitalize on Amazon, you know. There are plenty of ways that you can compete with Amazon, and it's just, again, it's just really not something I think about that much. So no, in summary, Amazon FBA is not dying anytime soon. In fact, I'm spending more on inventory for Amazon than I ever have before. I'm even actually looking into selling on the Amazon US platform as well, mainly for tax reasons, but it looks really interesting. So if you found this video useful and you're ready to achieve consistent profits from your own Amazon FBA business, then I may actually have something for you. So I've created a comprehensive coaching program where I'm going to be sharing my strategies, systems, and sourcing methods that has generated me in excess of £3 million in revenue. It includes a 6-hour course, one-to-one calls with me, weekly group sessions, access to my leads channel with loads of products that you can buy straight away to make money from. So if it sounds like that's for you, click the link in the video description to learn more about my 6-month coaching program and to start your own journey to Amazon FBA success. And make sure to like and subscribe if you did enjoy the video. You can tap up here to watch an interview with Sam, my £62,000 a month mentorship student, and that's profit, not revenue, that I mentioned earlier in this video. So yeah, go check that out, and I'll see you in the next one.